All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Wayne's World Garage. Sorry, didn't make it to the sawmill last week. I was busy polishing the spark plugs on the Power Wagon because I went to the FFA car show this past weekend in Edgewater. And the proceeds of that all go to scholarship funds for the local high school. So it's a good cause. I like going. But I had to polish my spark plugs to make sure I could win a $10 trophy. Great for my buddy Pete. Check out what he won. Best tractor in show. He bought his John Deere 50 to the show, and he won best in show. And I think it's like a second or third or fourth year in a row he's won best in show. Congrats, Pete. And even better yet is the organizer of the show, one of the local farmers, Mrs. Chase, makes these wonderful pies, and they sell these pies to try and support the show. They're the best part of the show, frankly. But anyway, on to today's project of splitting some firewood and cutting some firewood because we've used up a couple more stacks and I want to keep up on that. All right, there we are, split a little bit of firewood. It's April 24th, beautiful day out here, 60 some odd degrees, sunny, cool, chilly. Perfect day to replenish our firewood piles. And here's what we do here. We're getting a little bit smarter. We try and keep piles going every week, every year, every month. We got lots of piles here. And as soon as we get one pile done, instead of waiting and filling up 6 piles at once, I'll fill up one pile. So I've got the ladder rack to do now. And I don't know how big the ladder is, but it'll be a nice pile. Make them 4 foot high. Additionally, what we do with all of our firewood piles is we keep them off the ground now. And that's just so that the bottom layer doesn't rot out. And we don't need to spend days leveling them. It just took forever, and Paula did a great job leveling them. But these don't need leveling because I leveled them once when I built them. And most of them don't have ladders. They've got some rough cut lumber we've got, but they work out pretty well. And a log splitter, I think you've all seen a log splitter before, but just to quickly go over it before we get going, it's powered by a Honda GX390, 13 horsepower engine. I welded it up, I got some steel and made some parts for it and welded it up. It's got a lot of hydraulics on it. It's got a log lift over here, which works out pretty well. It's got this little wedge, a 4-way wedge, so I can lift it up 4 different ways. Not 4 ways. I can lift it and lower it depending upon the size of the log. And it's got the ram. Important for anybody who ever's thinking about buying, making, building a log splitter is hydraulics oftentimes are undersized, meaning the hydraulic tanks they use are way too small. This is like a 25-gallon tank. And what they say, general rule of thumb is for every gallon per minute of hydraulic fluid that your pump pumps, you want a gallon in the tank. So we got a 22-gallon a minute pump. So I got a 25-gallon tank. And the hydraulic fluid still gets kind of hot when I'm going, but not a big deal. So I've got this, it takes a little bit of time to get things set up and lined up. I think we're getting things going pretty well here. I've got a couple wheels here ready to go. So let me see if I can fire up the Honda and take it from there. Get my ears and eyes on once I get this thing going. Choke on, throttle on, fire in the hole. Make sure. So just to answer a couple of questions, because I'm sure they're in your mind, no, I've never had a log come at me and roll off the little piece of steel which holds it in place. It comes at me, flies at me pretty quick, even the big ones, so it does work out well. It's hard to get a log over that. Second question is, what am I doing here? Why don't I just cut the log in quarters, equal sizes? Well, because look at where I'm standing. I want to get the biggest part of the wheel, I call them wheels, towards me so I can grab that and put it back in place to get it re-split. If I leave the big side on the other side, then it's too far away and too heavy for me to lift and get into position. So you'll see me as I do this, I'll chunk away at it, but I'll keep the bigger parts closest to me so I can at least put them back onto the lift and the splitter and get them split again. Kind of works out pretty well, I guess. And while we're at it, let's talk about log splitter efficiency. Ideally, every time that ram moves forward, you want to be splitting wood. Ideally, that ram wants to be moving every minute of every hour and every second of every minute. So you're always splitting wood. But the problem is, I'm working alone here, so working alone is not very efficient. Ideally, you'd have two other helpers. One helper to load the logs onto the log lift. They'd be sitting around half the time. And the other time, they would be stacking wood. So if I've got another helper who's really fast and young and efficient and likes to help, they can stack wood and keep logs coming at me. That way I don't need to slow down, stop, get on the other side. And they can also help move the logs. But log splitters are dangerous. You got to keep your hands where they should be. You can't get them in the way of the wedge because that'll probably take your finger off or at least break something. Additionally, the log lift itself, it's powered by hydraulic cylinders, and that would cause problems if that thing hits you, so you got to pay attention. But efficiency is not very high when you're working alone, but who cares? I'm listening to some music, and it all's good. Okay, well, I've already split this wood once. I don't want to edit it and watch me splitting it again in slow motion. It's not exactly slow motion, but real time. So I'm going to speed this up 10 times just for a little bit till I get this split. Then we're going to buck a couple more pieces, and we'll do a little bit split, a little bit stack, and then we're calling it a day. So stand by while I speed this up a little bit. I guess I should sing a song or play some music. That's not going to happen, but we'll speed this up and get cranking here. All right, well, there you go. This will not fill up well, there you go. This will not fill up this stack, but we got a few wheels done. This is red oak. It's kind of nice wood. Can't remember where it came from, but the problem with the red oak around here is if you don't get to it quickly, it will rot out because bugs get in it, birds eat it, and it falls apart real quick. And we're not quite done because check this out. This is some white oak. Pulled it out of the woods. We milled most of it, but I had this extra piece left over because we wanted 16-foot pieces or 8-foot pieces or something like that to saw it into boards. So this is going to turn into firewood. White oak is a much, much better wood for us down here in Maryland. So what I do is we want these at least 16 inches, maybe 17 or 18 inches. And there you go. That's the story. I'm sticking with it. So this one here is going to have a problem because it's got this big kind of, branch coming off the side, but we'll make it smaller and we will chop it up, split it, and then we'll be good to go. So let me get 2 little cuts in this guy. We got a big mess over here, so I think what I'm going to do with this guy is let me cut him through, and I'm going to cut off the scab off the side of him because it's just, maybe there's a reason we dragged it out of the woods. But put your PPE on, get some ears, get some eyes, get some gloves, get your saw started and get ripping. And for anyone who doesn't do it already, keep a couple wedges with you. They will come in handy. They always do. This saw is a steel 462. It's a nice saw. It works great. What's that? Who knows what this is called? It's called a cant. You know why it's called a cant? Because you know you can't roll a log by yourself, and the cant help you. No, it's called a cantilever. Pretty funny guy, huh? Jay Leno, watch out. So, any of y'all people that ever do any stuff like this, bar locks, if it doesn't work when you turn the saw on, don't turn it on. Whenever handing the saw to somebody, make sure the bar lock is on. Use it to your advantage. Well, lucky me, the automatic firewood stacker showed up and started to lend a hand. Paula's a good sport. She does a great job stacking firewood. She enjoys doing it. I don't exactly enjoy doing it, but I don't mind doing it. But at least with two people going, it goes a lot faster. Additionally, a lot of this red oak has a lot of bad wood on the outer part of it, so we just toss it back in woods to finish rotting out. So with two people doing that, it's very quick, very efficient, and we're getting her done. All that work, splitting this, stacking it, and it's not a whole lot of wood, but this is probably 16 foot long. But the problem we run into is we use this automatic wood stacker, which you saw, and the accuracy is really, really poor. Well, maybe it's not bad, but they're expensive to operate. You know, they cost a lot of money. They want diamonds, they want food, they want cars. It's crazy. But that's the way it goes.
I may not be accurate, but I'm fast.
So that's it for today. We'll do some more later today. I'll drag some more out of the woods. Well, that's about it for firewood splitting and stacking for the day. We've got more than half of this pile done. We'll do a little bit more tomorrow. But the good news is we've got time to do it. We don't mind doing it. It's a gorgeous day outside. Couldn't be better as far as weather goes. And the helper, although high-priced, does a pretty good job anyway. But she's going to get back to rattling some pots and pans anyway to make dinner. No, just kidding anyway. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We appreciate it. Please do me a favor. Give us a thumbs up if you like it. Give it a thumbs down if you don't like it. Leave a comment. Subscribe. We're trying to crack the YouTube code. It's hard. They like shorts, frankly, the 60 seconds or less videos. While they're amusing for kids, anybody over the age of 15 might like something with a little bit more content and substance in them. If you do, give it a thumbs up because YouTube's kind of changing a little bit and they're really pushing the shorts a lot. I'll do shorts if that's what you want, but I don't have time to say anything. Thanks for watching. Take care, guys.